Hi, Pavel.
Hello, Monica.
How are you today?
Good, fine.
How
How's
is the
it?
weather on the north of the Poland?
Oh, it's okay. Bit windy, but quite okay.
Here is a lot of sunshine.
Oh,
Pretty warm. We have a summer almost.
yeah.
Yeah. So, tell me, how was your week as every week? I want to
Work,
know.
work, work, and some work. I don't know.
Have you
Good.
have some fun?
Have I
Not
have
only
some?
work. Come on.
It's what? I cannot have fun at work? I can.
Of course you can, but something beside work.
I don't know. What's fun? Work is fun.
I don't know, maybe you've seen some interesting movie, you read a book, walk for a
What?
swim, walk to
Read a
swim.
book? When?
Yeah.
I'm writing stuff. I don't have time to read books. Come on. I have time to watch around one movie a week during the weekend,
Okay.
and I'm trying always to squeeze four episodes of TV series.
And what are you watching now?
Marvel's Miss Maisel. Have you seen it?
Haven't seen. Nope.
No,
Nope.
it's it's a contemporary. No, it's not a contemporary. It's a comedy set in uh, after the war in U.S. and the
Civil War, you mean?
woman becomes a stand-up comedian during the times that stand-up comedian and the whole scene starts up in New York, and it's written by I think I think it's she is the master of a dialogue because the Amy Sherman Palladino, she's called the screenwriter, and she writes the dialogues like the two people usually are in a uh, duel. I think they are trying to win something, and they always hit. Each sentence is I don't know, like a punch, like a jab, and it's wonderful. She's awesome writer. I mean, it's
That's
not a science fiction TV series. It's a comedy and a dramedy.
it was once a series like this by DC, not Marvel. Lucky Guy, Lucky something. Uh, Also written by Stanley, and was an average guy. He was a policeman, as I remember, and he was just lucky because of the bracelet. Everything he's done, he was just lucky, and of course, it has had a price. And it's from few years ago. Serious. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, never seen it.
It's by DC.
Okay. No, no. Well, I recommend Marvel's Miss Maisel anyway. If anyone
Yeah, not
wants to
superheroes, but pretty good
not
as well.
superheroes.
Yeah.
You cannot watch always the science fiction
Yeah.
superheroes because it's not broadening your
And
views. You know, the dialogues, the tropes will be the same. So it's
yeah,
better to sometimes search out something new.
yeah.
I
So
think.
every part, next part, it's always the same story. So
Yeah.
oh yeah, you're right. Sometimes something else is better.
Yeah. And I also watched also funny. Oh, come on. It's, nah, never mind. Also comedy. The second comedy I watched, but I forgot what it's called. I'm
Last time
boring
I
about it.
was back into Monty Python Flying Circus
Oh,
once again.
Monty Python is awesome.
Yeah,
Always is. Always will be.
yeah, of course. Yes. So, but back into the topic of our meetings. Last time you were showing us.
We have a topic of our meetings. Seriously?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You're showing me the editor, the scavenger engine.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
You didn't know?
No.
So
I thought
please show me more. I want to learn.
Okay. So yeah, we finished like what we've done last time. Did we manage to test this? I failed once again.
You showed the
Okay, you,
you
you
showed
don't
the
remember.
game.
Okay,
Yeah, I remember. You showed the game. It was some problems again, but finally you did it.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
we're
and
still
we
at
were
the same scene, right?
yes, and there was a test,
Yeah,
passed and
there were tests.
failed.
Well, doesn't matter. I've I've backtracked a little bit when I was checking the entire project, and I remember that there was a test and there were 3 outcomes, and I thought that they are the same. Well, there is a small cosmetic difference, but there is. So I brought it back. So there are once again three outcomes of the test, and I did a little bit of improvement because, like I showed you before, there was this column of single video. We have like we are finding a recording inside of the suit, and we have options to either hack the device that holds the recordings, or to instruct our own system to sift through the videos and to adjust to apply some filter. And there is also option to watch like last 30 minutes. Of course, it's a 30 minutes in a game consisting of paragraphs, so it's not a 30 minutes.
Yeah,
But
except the real time.
so there was like a string, like I don't know, 30 different paragraphs, a lot of text of just watching that video. So I made some small adjustments. I created a possibility in here for the player to skip some parts. I thought about it beforehand, of course. And since the watching of the video now takes time, I placed them in a position that if he rewinds, it will watching the entire video with just rewinding will cost a little less time spent at that, but he will learn like a little less about the whole situation. So there is an option to skip some parts of this video and to jump in the process. But for now, I have like decided that at some point, I don't remember at what point. Oh my god! Oh yeah, at one point, I want the player to have an option to just take a look, because he is watching the recording that he has not done, and there are some other people in this video. And like I said, there is we are in intersection, and we will be choosing where to go. And there is like in front of us there is a one section of the ship that we can explore, and above us is the other one, the civilian one. And the civilian section is didn't specify it because this ship was like enormous, and it had like a large crew, like 100 or more people. and it would be impossible for the player to go like to every room and to check what they had. It would be boring, it would be counterproductive, and also I would have to write like
Another million of
gazillion,
scenes.
gazillions
Gazillions, yeah.
of new paragraphs, and that would be boring. But let's say that I need to have some hints for the player, for example, when if he goes there to look for someone. And for example, that he will be able to look at this video and, for example, get a clue that those people I know, they are intriguing, and if he finds those names or something like that later on, he will have a clue to go to check their banks or their rooms. Otherwise, he won't have a clue, and his choices will be limited without knowing those people, right?
Yeah.
So
And it's
that's the
blind
idea.
searching.
Yeah, instead of blind searching, which I will not do, that would be maddening. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think that's the way I'm gonna do it. So in here we have like an option to skip a part, right? The one that I said I will introduce. Now the player can jump through a little bit of dialogue, right? And here is the choice that will cost him 1 unit of time if he's gonna take it. So if he rewinds, there is no cost in time, and if he takes this choice, there is a change in here, and the time he has available will be reduced. So if he's gonna skip it, it's okay, it's fine. But if he's not gonna skip it, I'm gonna create the possibility for him now to call out those the names of the other people. So there is like some kind of an effect, right?
And so inventing one new person, you had to invent a few more.
Well, it's simple. I just here I'm gonna just create an option, right?
Yeah.
I'm creating a simple option that the player will have possibility to check, and I don't have to create too many people because I have like already have named one person. There is a Corinne. Corinne is like an officer. She's more important than the others. She's capable. Older lady, I think. She's like older than anyone else in this group. I don't know how to approach the age in our game. I'm trying to wiggle about it because it's the future. So I think that the aging effects will be like not exactly
The
the
same as
same.
now.
Yeah. So I'm usually writing the people who are older that our character has to figure it out. That the given person is a bit older actually than.
Yeah, and always the focus is on the eyes.
Yeah. I'm trying to do
As
that.
I remember the view from the eye, the wrinkles, something like that, but only eyes, especially eyes.
Yeah, well, the eyes are the mirror of the soul, or something like that.
Yeah.
Is the saying. So yeah, that's why.
Yep.
My friend had a theory about why the Blade Runner starts with the close up of the eye, and is so obsessed with the close ups of the eye, just because of that, because it's the way you can look into someone's soul. And the replicants in Blade Runner don't have a soul, right? Because they're replicants. Yeah, well, anyway, that's why I'm usually saying that the eyes look older and there's more in it. So Corinne is like that kind of person. She's
as I remember,
older, but
70.
she's like 70 years old probably, but she's more fit and capable than me probably. So anyway, I'm gonna
The future,
So I'm gonna create choice option 200. Right. Okay, and this will be like you check the data about the other crew members. Okay, and you seek the person details about the crew members in the view. Okay. Seek the person. Crap. Person.
Okay.
Details. Personal details about the crew members in the view. Okay. So now we're
Yeah.
gonna have this. And of course, we're gonna create a simple paragraph. I'm not gonna be boring the player with like some large descriptions, stuff like that. But well,
It's not a book.
you get the idea, right? So this is what will happen here, right? He's gonna get like information. Older lady is Korean. Okay, so older lady is Korean. Now I have like on our Discord channel, there were like two people who got there. So I asked them if they want to name an NPC for us. So I got like two names. So I decided that I will put them into the game. Why not?
Of course, but there was one thing I wanted to ask you about the names of the characters. Yeah. You first invented the person, and then you thought he or she will be named Sam, Kim, and stuff like this, or the other way. First was the name under the personality under this name. The look, Kim may look like this, Sam may look like this, and it has to be like this or that. How was it? I'm really curious about it.
No, I usually have like the idea of a person that is there, like somewhere, and then I think about the name and the surname. The name and the surname is actually always important in any fiction, so that's why I'm always inventing it. I even did that with player names. Okay, so, for example, let's start there. Okay, we have a list of names that a player can only choose. We had like a discussion about using the prompt window where player will enter his own, right? It's a kind of a problem on the completely other level, but we decided that for a short period of time we're gonna let the player only choose from our pre-made list, and that I had to do, and I had to figure it out, and I thought about it a lot. And that's why I created, I looked for different names that can be applied to different cultures that are, for example, right now, because the players will be from our times, not from the future. So
Yeah.
I didn't have to invent names from the future. That would be counterproductive, but I created names that will, for example, be the best fitted and will also represent, like, for example, if we take Suaina is the name for the female, one of the names for the female character, for the female character. That's because it's like name that is Indian. I think it also is present in Pakistanian and other in this region, right? There are a lot of people from this region, so I decided that I will give them this choice, right? And the same thing applied to the male names. I created like different kinds that we don't write like that from what culture you are coming from, but it doesn't matter if we will be in space or not, our roots will be somewhere, so I give them names in this way. The same applies to NPCs, and with NPCs it's even more complicated because you have to give them also surnames that are somehow indicative of their character, of whom they are, or give some information about their background, right? So it's not like complete accident. It's the same like I explained with
With
Grant
Butcher.
characters, Butcher, right? Grant is Grant Matar. Grant Matar. He's Hispanic, and it gives me a background for him, or it comes from his background, right? So it works in
Yeah,
those ways. I create around the general meaning of the person, and I'm trying usually to invent the person beforehand, at least some ideas, and then give him surname that
okay.
will be the best suited for a given to represent something, it's
Because
not.
the names are important, yes.
Yeah, sure, because in
Yeah,
fiction generally we the names are not accidents ever.
of
If you
course.
think that any character is named just because I can do it, that's not true. The
Yeah.
names are specifically designed either to be similar to something that we know, or
And I
to
think
hide.
the best, how to say it, example of what you're saying is in the Bond movies.
Bond movies.
Yes,
I
the
don't know,
names of
but
his
yeah,
girlfriends are always characteristic.
yes, yes. But I don't know.
It's
I don't like.
especially
I
when
could. Well, let's be honest. I cannot tell you because I have seen like one Bond ever.
okay.
Seen only the one with Pierce Brosnan, and it was like, so no. I don't like
Okay.
James Bond, and I have little knowledge about this universe. I know it's pop culture, so I got a lot of references, and I know a lot of small details about it.
I the general things.
I don't like this kind of movies is not for me. The same is with Mission Impossible, so I cannot tell you about the names, but I know
I
about.
have something like that with
I have the
Fast and
best.
Furious.
The best for me, the best example is, for example, Frodo Baggins. Frodo Baggins is like absolutely common name. He sounds like someone who is just around the corner, and all the names, for example, who were invented by Tolkien were like this and that, and they all had like some background, like they never were just an accident. The everything was beautifully planned, and this is always happening. They have to like indicate. You cannot have like Martin in a fantasy setting, right?
Yeah.
That sounds stupid. Of course, if you are Roger Zelazny, then you can have a Martin in a fantasy setting, but it's a different tale. Uh, but yeah, you have to always pay attention to names, not to make a mistake, and to of course to represent the character in some ways, right?
Yeah.
And that it's always a bit harder about with surnames and names coming from other cultures than your own, because in well, let's say America is quite okay, we can relate, and we know, like, there are always Smiths and others like that. We have the same kind of surname in Poland
Yeah,
and in most of the countries, so it's a common name. And if we would call someone with this name, we would know that we actually don't know anything about his
yeah,
background. Either background is not important, or it's mysterious actually, and it will be revealed later on that it's something completely different, right?
that's true.
So, but if we go like with someone like Mike Manus, then we can like figure it out. Like Mike Manus does not sound like typical American surname. It's
It sounds like more Irish or
Scottish,
Scottish.
or something like that, right? And you go like in this direction.
Yeah,
And I sometimes also look for the meaning even of the names, right? Because each name has a meaning, and sometimes that's indicative. And a lot of things, yeah, with names and naming the characters, it's a bit tricky, and I'm usually trying to do afterwards. But with the minor NPCs, sometimes it happens the other way, because I don't have much time to portray them. So, like, if I will invent that, I think recently I did a Nigerian name. I had like a surname that was from Nigeria, I think. Then I Google it, and I pinpointed it to other region, and I selected the name, and I thought about the character, why he's coming from this country, and how it happens, and I've got like an image in my head just based on the few facts. And then I searched for the name to match it, and I looked for the meanings, and I said, well, I would like this character to be. And then I thought, oh, this one means he's like cunning. Okay, I'm going with cunning. And I added that name. So, for example, for minor NPCs, that can look that way.
and from what you're talking, it's like you're writing the script, and it's your view of the future, fantasy view, but it's your view. And still, we have a federations and stuff like this, and each country is existing right now, and you are basing on them.
Well, no, I'm
It's
not basing exactly the about. No, I'm not basing the.
yeah, there's Russian, Nigerian, Spanish.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but
because
you don't know if with the other
no, no, no,
countries, especially you said that
no,
was
no, no, no.
ridiculous. There's a federation of many countries, but you believe that they will be existing separately.
No, no, I don't. I do not even assume that, and I do not have it even. I created, like I told you before, I had like a little of world building. I have this mountain that sticks out of the water, so I have it, right? And no, but I do think that we will retain in the future. We need to be like global, okay? We are going to a
Yeah,
globalized state, and there is a Kardashev scale. Kardashev divided the civilization depending on different types. There's type 1, type 2, and type 3, and there's type 0. We are type 0. We are schmucks. Okay, we don't have anything. And then when we start to have like a civilization, a larger output of energy, and we overcome some of our obstacles that are in our like path to the future. For example, we need to start mastering the weather. We need to start create a system that can counteract some global disasters, not to mention asteroids that will fall. That has to happen somewhere in the future. And globalization is also one of the indicative of the first type of civilization. And for example, like I told you, I like to read about it, and Michio Kaku says that the Type 1 civilization has to achieve the globalization. So I assumed from the very beginning that we are actually a global civilization. The Earth is now one big happy nation. Nation in quotation because there are no nations, but we will retain our geographical regions,
Languages.
languages. Well, let's hope there will be probably one common language, and the others will be like, well, losing the meaning probably. But that I cannot, of course, foresee for sure. Of course, I'm not that smart to know that. But the English language is like so overpowering that
Yeah,
and intruding everywhere, so it's kind of hard. But
like Latin once
that's why
time ago.
I still am looking at the cultures, because when we go to space, we need to carry something with us. So, some
Yeah,
of us will like forget it like in an instant, and there this is a threat about space exploration that people forget about and don't and ignore Earth completely. And on the other hand, we're going to like take something of our culture into space. And those federations, corporations, and other creations I did were actually coming from blocks of power that I invented that will exist, because some parts of the world are now, like for example, the main leaders in space exploration, right? Where we have like spaceports, and where are the first spaceships coming from US, Russia, India, China, and that's it, I think.
yeah,
So yeah, those four powers are the most common out there. So so they will, because they are now some of the countries, most of the countries that I just listed are very
yeah. Later.
isolationists. I don't know. They are very concentrated on maintaining their own culture and society. So there will always be a problem with that they will be mm, holding to their culture and history very tightly. While US, for example, and Europe probably will be less inclined to be sticking in to the older ways. That's what I think, at least, and that's what I'm trying to also portray in
But
within the game.
US is more like it's there's no besides yeah the origins. There's everyone is immigrant there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the US doesn't. Of course, they created their own culture, their own history, but it's very short. For example, comparing to ours.
Mm, it- and
And I think
so
that
what?
this is their parent. This is their
So
power. Because
I
they
don't know.
have a full of people there, and from many cultures, from many civilizations, Asian, European, black, white, red, yellow, everyone's there. And that's why they have a potential, because they can use everyone's brain. Not like I think here, because in Poland, for example, you can see it only in bigger cities, that you have some foreign in here.
Yes,
In small city like from where I'm living, there's
but
no one.
multicultural. mm, This is a multicultural city, but
Yeah.
again, for example, the same thing applies to like United Kingdoms, right? The large cities have a lot of other nations and other races, and
Yes.
they go along and they become multicultural. But also there's always smaller cities, smaller places where this thinking is not so present. That's because we don't meet too many people, and the ships will also represent this in the future, like in space. Okay, this is the idea of the federation was that the nations from US and from Europe, I think. I don't remember exactly right now, but some of them created this block and they settled on their own. And for example, they brought this kind of thinking, right? And the others brought other way of things into the space. So this will also be represented in the game. So that's why names still hold power. It's not because I'm sticking to the old thinking and it's my like conclusion that there are still countries no matter where we go. No, I know that they are in space, and I think that will also have some meaning even in the future. Will have
Yeah.
probably fading, but will happen. Okay. So now, yeah, we have like coring.
Back to that.
Yeah, we'll go back. So the young guy from the back is listed as Alec. This is one of our guests um, on the Discord channel was asked for this young guy from
Yeah.
the back. Okay, so now our character will wander on the names. Why no surnames? The system must show us only what Butcher knows, not the actual data. Bummer. Okay. So we got like 2 already listed. Now that's like I don't know if it is not a trick. One of our guests on Discord channel suggested this name and surname, and he's very mysterious about it. I'm not sure because what like you can always play games with names, right?
Yeah.
And uh, he said the first name that came to his mind was oh, Bend Over.
Bend over.
Yeah, of course
Okay.
he left. So the second proposition is for female. So I'm not sure if it's not a trap. I will be checking it even more if it's a trap or not. But in the back there is another lady. She seems a bit shy. Her name is listed as and what was this name? I'm not sure about it. I'm not feeling good. It's maybe some kind of a language trick from Germany. I'm not sure. I'm gonna ask my German friend later on when I will be speaking with him. But she is listed as some wonder. Some wonder. Some wonder. I don't know. Does that sounds like something?
I'm not familiar with German, so for me not. For me, just a name.
The name is listed as someone. I'm not sure if it's not a trick. I'm gonna be still checking it. I don't want to be made fun of. Okay, and there is also another guy I invented. I forgot his name. He's a schmuck. Where is he? What's his name? Forgot about him. No, not yet. Where are you? Diggs. Okay, Diggs. Let him.
How is written Dix?
What?
Spell Dix.
Diggs.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and the one that is called Diggs is the loudest of the bunch. Okay, and in this way, I've given some information about the character, right? Some characters, but that would have no meaning to the game, right? It would only give a meaning to the player, and I highly doubt that the player will be sitting with I don't know, some kind of a notebook to write down every name he encounters. That would be so. I need to give some kind of
small description just to know.
No, some information for the game, and that's where it comes another side of our game. We have like this is a graph. This is graph.
Yeah.
This is where we put all the information and everything else. But we also have the data, and we can work on some simple data to avoid any programming from the creator, from writer. We can create some elements like objects and properties and give them any value we want. So in this way, it is kind of a programming, but it's not programming because we don't program anything. We just we create objects, we give them properties, and we apply values, and then later on we check only those things, if they are true or not, if they exist, if the player has them or not. Okay, and once upon a time, I created an object. This is called player knowledge, right? It's just called player knowledge. It's an object that will hold a whole group of different information. And for example, right now, I have a like Marta Mutiny, Labor Code Act, Butcher's armor set, which is applied to this scene, and Butcher's data. Also, it's important for this scene only. And I will now add to the player knowledge another one that will inform the game that the player checked the other crew members, and now he has the information about their names. So I will create a property for this group. The property will be called names from Butcher's video, right? And I will not be like complicating things. I can now decide, right? I can have text, I can have number, and I can have a boolean. Boolean means yes or no. Number is just a number from 1 to any number, and text is actually a bit more complicated because I will have to set values on my own. I would have to apply specific topics. For example, I will have like he knows Alec, he knows Diggs, he knows this one, and I would apply for this property each of those values. I don't need it because I don't need to specify which name he remembers. I just want to give information to the game that the player checked it out and he will know the names. Okay, now this is the window I give the name to the property. I decided what type of the property it is, if it is Boolean, if it is number, if it is a text, and I would have to predefine values, and now I will attach it to one of the objects that was player knowledge. Yep, player knowledge, and I will just add it. Hips, and it's this. It's at the very end. It has like everything that should be here. Properties, objects, and values are visible only to the game. The player does not see them. The player does not need to know about them unless we want to inform him. We have a way of creating messages and information for the player that something has changed, but I will not be explaining this because it's like a lot of redundant data and
And
information.
you have a comment
The
for
what?
all of this, yes?
Well, where?
As Sorprop on Twitch. Sorprop wrote, definitely need a list of characters in this editor.
What? I don't.
Definitely need a list of all characters in this editor.
In this editor, I need a whole list.
A list of all characters.
You know what? I don't know. Do I need that? Perhaps it would be good, to create a kind of set of data like entities or something like that, like creating like Wikipedia or something like that inside of our engine as well, because when you create such a big project, it's kind of hard to follow up all the information. And if we had some kind of a reference, like when we create something like entity NPC, for example, we would insert something into the engine, and then when we need just to refer it for ourselves, even for creators, oh, he was here and he was used in this place, and this place would be good. Sure. Perhaps that is one of the functionalities that will be one day added. It's not like a definite. And actually, you could do that if you want to. You can exactly do that with data. You can create like a NPC kind of because this is quite actually, it's more complicated than I'm showing. You can create an object, for example, and you could call the object, for example, NPCs, right?
Yeah.
And each NPC, like each either property or each value, like for example, here I have values, and in values I have names for our characters, right? We talked about names, and we have like CYOA, right? And I have like a annotation. This is note for me, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I could do. For example, in this in the entire engine, like create a object for every NPC, enter as a property or a value each name, and then give some notes in this part, and I will always have them, like whatever. I could do this, but it's not like the designation of this functionality was not that. It was not to hold the data for me. It was to hold the data for the game. But now I will apply this. Okay. So now I'm going to, when the option is when the player takes an option to check up the crew members. This is the green one, the option node. And in the option node, I'm making a change. I'm going to add an objects rule because we created an object with a property. I'm going to have then add an object. There is a expandable list of every object group. I'm going to player knowledge. Player knowledge. Hello, wake up. Okay, player knowledge. I'm going to select names from, again, another expandable list of all the properties that are attached to the given object in data. Names from Butcher Video set to true. right? Because now the player watched. On the default, all the booleans are set up false. So now I'm going to change in this instance true, and that's it for the entire game. Whenever I need to, I can set in any node a requirement for an object rule, right? For example, in this part, I could ask a player if he has seen this part of the video, if he checked the names, and I will go like add object rule. I'm gonna select again player knowledge if he's seen butchers from the video, if it is true. This is a requirement to for the game to display this node. If it is not fulfilled, then this node will not be displayed. In this particular case, it would result in a dead end, right? No text would be displayed, no option would be displayed, and the player will be stuck. But this is how I'm doing it for a lot of things. I'm creating objects and properties to check if they are true, if not, setting in requirements, and in this way, without again any programming, I can create a different list about different elements that have to be fulfilled for a given paragraph to be displayed. Right? You got it?
Yep, I think so.
Cool? Or not?
Yes, yes, of course.
Great. Yeah. So this is what I thought, and this is what I am going to add to the scene. The names of the other crew members will be now in here. Okay, I'm going to do this. Of course, if I want to, and I should want to actually, I can go like to the data, of course, and to the given property that we created, and leave ourselves a node, right? Like for example, this property is set in ID 36 node 2 node label this. Okay, and by doing this small reference in just a notification, this is actually no, this is not a node. Where did I that?
So what is it?
Here, there is an no. This is a node. Yeah, this is no. Sorry, this is a node. Nodes. Yeah, this is a node. This is a node only visible for us. No one will ever check it out, and we will know where we first used it. Okay, where was it called for the first time, and we will know. There's also an indication, of course. There's usages in here. How many times we used it in the entire project, right? For now, it's only one because I only set it
Okay.
up for future reference. Okay, and this is how I'm again checking the different changes in the state of our characters, of everything that happens when player does something. Okay, and I'm saving data, and this is done. The
Yeah.
NPCs are created, they enter the world. Now they are going to live here forever, or at least until Google Play does not decide to remove our application from the store.
Come on, they cannot do that.
Yes, they can.
No. Why?
I don't know. Thousands of
For
reasons.
now, they don't have a reason.
For now, no.
For now.
Let's hope they never have.
Let's say that way.
Perhaps like I don't know how long will Google Play will exist, and how long they intend to like keep the old applications. Usually it's because the company dissolves or changes names or something like that, and I'm sometimes very furious about it, if you ask me.
For example?
Well, I don't know how to explain this. For example, the game for kids. The game for kids are like very fluid, okay? Because
Yeah,
they exist actually. If you don't know, most of the games on Google Play for kids exist only, I don't know, for like 5 years, and then they are usually deleted. Somehow the companies, somehow the first of all the hardware changes. Usually, the companies that make those games don't work on them so hard to update them constantly for the newer versions of the operating systems to work. And they are removed from the shop, and sometimes the companies just fall. And for example, there was a lovely game called, and again I will forget the name, but it was made by hand that with modeling clay. The small figures all were done with modeling clay, and all the animations were done actually with a camera and animating this clay.
yeah,
So it was not a computer graphics. That was the
yes,
funny
I
part, and
remember.
the game was awesome. The and the company
It's
just
like
was
stories in the evening TV
yeah,
for
yeah,
children.
and it was funny game
Yeah,
about rolling the ball and crushing those clay figures, and the ball grew, and you had like different quests and different things, and it was simple, engaging. I liked it playing it. It was like very cool idea, and additionally, it had like an artistic element, and the first of all, the game itself was bought by Play-Doh. I don't know. Do you know what Play-Doh is? But
so
it's a big company with children toys. The
okay.
modeling clay for children, and it sells it like by by dozens, you know. And they bought this game. They created their own version, but the version was not selling. It was not, I don't know, downloaded enough, not selling enough, and they also created other software, so they deleted this game, and by doing that they deleted the other game also.
Okay.
And I have no words. Actually, the game is not underdeveloped because there were other levels that should have been added and stuff like that. And I'm mad that it disappeared. But a lot of games, good games for children, are disappearing left and right from the Google Play because they are either outdated or someone grabs them because of the idea of something and then just smashes them
Yeah,
on
but it
the right.
happens a lot with something bigger by something small. What was cool? Yes, it's for example the British series "Lie to Me" with Tim Roth.
Oh yeah, don't remind me that.
Yeah, and the
What's good
Americans
about it?
bought it,
Yeah,
and the movie, the serial collapsed. There was only 3 seasons, I remember.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
amazing
after
TV
that,
series.
yeah, I love this series. One of my favorite. And American bought it,
Yeah.
and they wanted to make another season, and it was a disaster. So they
I,
haven't been played ever.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly how it ended with this TV series. I watched it.
It was just
I think
and then
no, they
it
canceled
wasn't
it.
an end of the series. It was an end of the season, just a season. It
Yeah,
wasn't something big in the end. It was just ended.
well, that is actually the fate of many TV
Yeah,
series. Like they change the ownership, trying to survive.
yeah,
The Expanse was very very close to death, and Amazon showed up and saved it, and it saved it like a pro.
yeah. That's true. But it didn't happen to Lie to Me,
No, unfortunately,
unfortunately.
not every series, but some
Yeah,
small TV series were saved like in a nick of time, and they made great. For example, the Karate Kid, the Cobra Kai. I don't know
Yeah.
if you watched it or heard
Oh,
about Cobra
many
Kai.
years ago, but I remember a bit of it.
Okay, the Cobra Kai was on Yahoo. That was absolute failure. They were the first, I think, of the streaming services everywhere. They started very early, and they had like one TV series that people noticed, the Cobra Kai. And after 2 years, and the Cobra Kai went into limbo, as well as the whole Yahoo streaming service, and then the Yahoo just dissolved and fall down, and the Netflix bought it, and they brought back like money and everything, and the TV series still thrives, and it's like fifth season right now will be. Yeah, I think there will be fifth season. There's also a great little TV series called Longmire that had a wonderful writing, and I really liked it. And it was, I think, on America exactly. That TV station had it previously, and they canceled it on the third season. And again, the Netflix swoop in and said, "Yeah, okay, we're gonna give it to you." And they created like 2 seasons, and it was one of the most watched. Everywhere was the news about Longmire saves, and people started watching, and it was even better than the original episodes. So sometimes some of the TV series are saved by different.
Yes, they didn't make it with Lucifer, unfortunately.
Lucifer was beyond any redemption after, I don't know, like first season. It was so bland, boring. I could not differentiate the Lucifer from the Castle. I don't
Yeah.
know if you have watched Castle.
I watched one episode, and that was enough.
I was watching Castle because of the Nathan Fillion who played in Firefly, right? Since we are talking about science fiction genre, and it was a good TV series. It was okay. It had a concept for this procedural kind of a comedy crime, but then it just deteriorated. It could not. The story could not withhold any samples of coherent story, and then they just fall down, and I just stopped watching. Like, I don't know, 2 seasons, and I said, "Oh no, I cannot go with it." And the Lucifer is loosely based on Sandman by Neil Gaiman, and the scenes with Lucifer and Sandman are amazing. This TV series was awful. It was like, ugh. It had no plots, and it looked exactly like a copy of Castle. But the worst part was that the actor who played the Lucifer was amazing. I think he was great in every. I would just again, I would hire him as Lucifer in the Sandman series, and why they have not done that is beyond my comprehension. Okay, so I think I am all alone. And Monica is gone, some kind of a disconnect. But it's hour already, and I think it's time to end today's stream. Like I showed you, I think that in this scene I only have like one other element for the editor to present the equipment and how we are inserting and creating pieces of equipment for our character. And I'm going to tell about it next week, I think. So for now, it's like bye, and let's see each other next week. Of course, I won't see you, but you will see me. Okay.